Welcome to World Information HD, the channel that uncovers the hidden treasures hiding in your pocket change. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 most valuable rare USA dirty Jefferson nickel 5-cent coins worth millions. These old, tarnished nickels may look ordinary, but some are secretly worth a fortune. So grab your coin jars and stay tuned. One of these rare nickels could make you a millionaire. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American coinage, the United States of America 1961 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin. This coin might look ordinary at first glance, something you might have in an old jar, a drawer, or perhaps forgotten in your grandfather's pocket change. But behind its simple appearance lies an incredible story of rarity, minting history, collector obsession, and unbelievable value. So stay tuned until the end, because by the time you finish watching, you'll never look at your old nickels the same way again. Let's start with a bit of history. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the long-running Buffalo nickel series. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse. A man who not only penned the Declaration of Independence but also inspired the nation's enduring principles of liberty. On the reverse side, you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate. A stunning architectural masterpiece that represents both his intellect and his legacy. Fast forward to 1961, a year that stood on the edge of transformation. The United States was entering a new era, the early years of the space race, the rise of youthful leadership under President Kennedy, and a changing economic climate. The U.S. Mint, located in Philadelphia, was busy producing millions of coins for circulation. Among them was the Jefferson nickel, yet the 1961 issue carried a unique story that most people overlook. Unlike nickels minted in Denver or San Francisco, the Philadelphia Mint used no mint mark at all. So if you look at your coin and notice the absence of a small D or S near Monticello, then congratulations, you are holding a 1961 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel. Now, most of these coins were mass-produced, over 76 million pieces rolled out of the presses that year. On paper, that doesn't sound rare. But here's where things get interesting. Out of those millions, only a fraction survived in pristine, untouched condition. Over time, the wear from circulation, contact marks, and poor storage reduced most of them to common status. But a few rare survivors, coins with flawless surfaces, deep luster, and crisp strikes, are now commanding extraordinary prices among collectors. The value of a coin isn't just about how old it is, it's about how well it was preserved. Collectors use a grading scale developed by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. On this scale, grades like fine, extremely fine, mint state, and proof determine how much a collector is willing to pay. A typical 1961 no-mint marked nickel in circulated condition might only be worth a few cents above face value. But the moment you enter the higher grades, such as mint state, MS 65 or above, the value begins to rise sharply. What makes the 1961 nickel even more special is the presence of die variations. During the minting process, each coin was struck from a steel die. Over time, dies would wear out, leading to weak strikes, missing details, or doubled images. A handful of 1961 nickels show what collectors call full steps, meaning the steps of Monticello on the reverse are fully visible, crisp, and uninterrupted. This detail is extremely hard to find, especially on older nickels. A Jefferson nickel with full steps can skyrocket in value because it shows a perfect, strong strike, something the mint didn't achieve consistently during that era. For years, coin collectors have scoured rolls, jars, and estates looking for that one perfect full steps 1961 nickel. You might even find one hiding in plain sight, perhaps in an old coffee tin or your grandparents' coin album. It's like finding buried treasure, because the difference between a regular 1961 nickel and a flawless one could be the difference between a few cents and thousands of dollars. Let's dig deeper into the design itself. The obverse features Jefferson's noble portrait facing left, framed by the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with the date 1961. The reverse proudly displays the Monticello, centered beneath the inscription, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Beneath that rests, United States of America, and 5 cents. Even though the design remained largely unchanged for decades, collectors often notice subtle differences, slightly shifted lettering, weaker details on the steps, or variations in die polish. Another fascinating part of the 1961 nickel story lies in its composition. Unlike silver coins, the Jefferson nickel has always been made of a durable 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy. This unique mix gives it a distinctive silvery tone and resistance to corrosion, one reason many nickels from the 1960s still survive today in decent condition. However, because the metal itself isn't precious, the coin's true worth comes from rarity, condition, and collector demand, not metal content. Now, one of the most exciting discoveries came when collectors began submitting their 1961 nickels for professional grading. A few coins received the incredibly high grade of MS67 or MS67+, which is almost perfect by numismatic standards. Imagine a tiny 5-cent coin, perfectly struck and preserved for over 60 years, free from scratches or marks, shining with its original mint luster. These are the nickels that auction houses dream about. In coin auctions across America, some of these 1961 no-mint marked Jefferson nickels have stunned experts and enthusiasts alike. They've been sold for prices so high that it's hard to believe such a small coin could fetch so much. Collectors with sharp eyes and patience have found fortunes in unexpected places: estate sales, coin rolls from banks, or even forgotten cigar boxes in attics. Many stories have surfaced of casual hobbyists turning their small finds into huge paydays, simply because they recognized a rare detail others overlooked. When looking for a valuable 1961 nickel, here's what you should keep in mind first. Check if your coin has full steps on Monticello. Use a magnifying glass under good light. If you can clearly count 5 or 6 distinct steps with no breaks, you might have a winner. Second, check the surface. Does the coin have its original shine? Are there scratches, nicks, or dull spots? Third, remember that a no-mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. That's exactly the version collectors are after. Now here's an amazing fact. Some 1961 nickels were struck so sharply that even under magnification, you can see faint die polish lines, a sign of a fresh die used briefly before it was replaced. Coins from those early die strikes often have that bright, mirror-like surface that collectors crave. It's also worth mentioning that there are proof versions of the 1961 Jefferson nickel, but those were struck separately at the San Francisco Mint and packaged for collectors. The proof versions are beautiful, with mirror fields and frosted designs, but the true treasure lies in the regular no-mint mark circulation strike, especially when it's preserved in top grade. Every coin tells a story, and the 1961 nickel story is one of endurance. For over 6 decades, it has traveled through the hands of countless Americans, passed across counters, carried in pockets, and tucked into change jars. Yet a few pristine examples have survived untouched, defying time itself. So next time you're sifting through loose change or organizing an old collection, pause for a moment. Take a close look at your nickels. That small piece of history could hold immense value, more than you ever imagined. Because among the millions that were minted in Philadelphia that year, a few were struck with precision, stored with care, and have now become legends in the numismatic world. And here's the jaw-dropping part: a United States of America 1961 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin. In exceptional mint condition with full steps and perfect preservation, has been sold for an astonishing $63,456. Yes, you heard that right. A humble nickel, worth just 5 cents when it left the mint, can now be worth $63,456 in today's collector market. So always remember, what seems ordinary might just be extraordinary. Every coin has a story, every detail holds history, and every find could change your life. Keep looking, keep searching, and you might just discover the next rare treasure hiding right in your pocket change. The 1964 Jefferson nickel, a simple 5-cent coin that has circulated in millions across the United States, might not seem like anything special at first glance. It's small, silver gray, and ordinary to the untrained eye. But as every passionate coin collector knows, appearances can be deceiving. Some of these coins, especially the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, hold incredible secrets, secrets that could turn pocket change into a life-changing treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, exploring its origin, design, hidden varieties, and the shocking reason why some of them are worth thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars today. So sit tight and make sure to watch until the very end, because the value of one rare example will absolutely blow your mind. The Jefferson nickel first appeared in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel after 25 years of use. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the coin was created to honor the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The front, or obverse, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson, showing his strong profile with the word, Liberty, and the date beside it. The reverse side of the coin showcases Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, a neoclassical masterpiece built by Jefferson himself in Virginia. Now, let's jump forward to 1964, a year that stands out in American coinage history. The U.S. Mint was facing a massive coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins due to rising metal prices, and as a result, circulation coins became scarce. To combat the shortage, the U.S. Mint ramped up production like never before. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was struck in record-breaking numbers. Over 1 billion nickels were minted between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Because of this huge number, most people assume the 1964 Jefferson nickel has no collector value. But that assumption couldn't be further from the truth. The sheer number of coins produced created countless varieties, minting errors, and die imperfections, and it's these errors that can make the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth thousands of dollars. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark was minted in Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark right next to the Monticello building on the reverse indicates that it was produced there. Denver-made coins, by contrast, have a small D mint mark. While most Philadelphia nickels were struck normally, some were minted with slightly different dies or pressure variations, and these rare imperfections are what make collectors go wild. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1964 full steps Jefferson nickel. This designation refers to the staircase on Monticello's reverse side. On most coins, the steps are faint, worn, or incomplete due to weak strikes. But a coin that shows 5 or 6 full, distinct steps is an absolute rarity. Why? Because in 1964, the mint was working under extreme pressure to produce billions of nickels quickly. Quality control was not the top priority. As a result, only a small fraction of coins left the mint with perfectly struck steps. Collectors today hunt obsessively for these full steps nickels. To earn the official full steps designation from grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, the steps must be clearly separated and unbroken. Finding one in top condition, uncirculated and sharply detailed, is like striking gold in the world of numismatics. Then, there are the mint errors, and this is where things get truly fascinating. Some 1964 nickels feature double dies, where the design elements were struck twice by accident, creating a shadow or doubling effect. This doubling is often visible on Jefferson's eye, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," or Monticello, and even the steps themselves. These doubling errors can dramatically raise the value of the coin. Other fascinating errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. Each of these adds unique character to the coin, turning what was once a common piece of pocket change into a valuable collectible. Another twist in the story comes with the 1964 Special Mint Set nickels. These coins were not part of regular circulation but were produced under mysterious circumstances. Some believe they were trial strikes for what later became the 1965 Special Mint Sets. These 1964 nickels have sharper details, satin-like finishes, and no mint marks. Only a handful of these examples are known to exist, making them some of the most desirable Jefferson nickels ever produced. Collectors often debate how these coins came to be. Some say they were experimental strikes created by mint workers to test new techniques. Others think they were made for government officials or special presentations. Regardless of their origin, the rarity of these coins cannot be overstated. When they appear at auctions, they fetch astonishing prices. Condition also plays a massive role in determining a coin's value. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, where a coin graded MS60 and above is considered mint state, meaning it has never been circulated. A coin graded MS65 or higher, with sharp details and full luster, can easily sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its features. The 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel in uncirculated condition often shines with silver-gray brilliance and crisp details. But to command premium prices, it needs that combination of full steps, era uniqueness, and exceptional preservation. Coins stored properly for decades in coin albums or holders often retain their original luster and are the ones that fetch record-breaking amounts. One of the most remarkable auction stories in recent years involved a pristine 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel graded MS67 with full steps. This coin stunned collectors when it sold for tens of thousands of dollars, proving that even a 5-cent piece can hold incredible value if preserved and graded properly. Imagine rummaging through your old coin jar, finding a 1964 nickel that looks just a bit shinier or crisper than the rest, and discovering that it could change your financial situation overnight. That's the kind of excitement that keeps collectors hunting, year after year. So, what exactly should you look for if you happen to find a 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel? Here are a few tips. First, check the reverse side carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Focus on the steps of Monticello. If all 5 or 6 steps are fully visible and separated, you may have a full steps variety. That's where the serious money starts. Next, look for any doubling in the lettering or on Jefferson's features. Double dies are especially valuable if the doubling is strong and noticeable. Also, check for unusual shapes along the edge of the coin, signs of a clipped planchet or off-center strike. These minting errors are highly collectible and can increase a coin's worth dramatically. Lastly, consider the overall condition. If your coin has sharp details, no major scratches, and still carries that mint-fresh shine, it could be a mint-state example. And if it's an extremely well-struck one, you're in luck. Collectors will pay top dollar. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin historically significant beyond just its value. The 1964 nickel marks the end of an era. It was the final year before the U.S. Mint removed silver from most circulating coins. Although the nickel itself never contained silver, this year represents a turning point in U.S. coinage, when economic shifts and hoarding habits changed the way Americans viewed their money. The 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel embodies both history and mystery. It's a coin that has traveled through the hands of millions, from grocery stores to gas stations, yet a select few have defied the odds to survive in pristine condition, untouched by time. Collectors love the chase, the idea that one of these small, ordinary coins could still be sitting unnoticed in a change jar, waiting for someone to realize its hidden potential. And that's what makes the world of coin collecting so thrilling. You never know what you might find. Every coin tells a story, of the people who used it, the hands it passed through, and the era it represents. And among the countless 1964 nickels that were struck, there lies a rare handful that stand apart, gleaming with history and value beyond measure. So before you spend that old nickel, take a moment to look at it closely. You might be holding a forgotten piece of American history worth far more than its face value. Some of these 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickels have sold for astonishing prices, with the rarest examples reaching an unbelievable amount, $59,883. Yes, you heard that right, $59,883 for a single nickel. Welcome to World Information HD, the channel where knowledge meets excitement, and every coin could hold the key to a hidden fortune. Today, we are diving deep into the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, to uncover the fascinating story behind one of America's often overlooked treasures, the 1980 mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin. Yes, you heard that right. A small, everyday nickel that many of us have handled countless times might be worth an amount that could completely change your life. But why? What makes one small piece of metal so incredibly valuable? The answer lies in its unique blend of history, rarity, minting errors, and collector demand. Let's take a journey back to 1980, a time when the United States was evolving, industries were booming, and the Denver Mint was working tirelessly to produce millions of Jefferson nickels for circulation. The 1980 Jefferson nickel might seem common at first glance, but as with many valuable coins, the magic is hidden in the details. Details that can turn an ordinary 5-cent coin into a collector's dream worth thousands of dollars. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin honored Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The obverse of the coin features Jefferson's left-facing portrait, while the reverse showcases his magnificent home, Monticello, a symbol of architectural beauty and historical importance. By 1980, the nickel had become one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. Millions were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Denver mint, marked with the small d below the date, produced a large quantity of these coins. But as every collector knows, not all coins are created equal. Among the millions, a few rare pieces came out with striking minting errors, and those few are the ones that make the headlines today. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1980 Jefferson nickel is the potential for minting anomalies. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, full steps, and planchet issues can drastically increase a coin's value. Imagine holding a nickel that looks just slightly different. Maybe the date seems doubled, the Monticello building appears off-centered, or the steps at the bottom of the building are unusually clear and complete. Those minor differences could make the coin worth thousands. The term, full steps, is especially important when it comes to Jefferson nickels. It refers to the clarity and visibility of the steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. When these steps are fully visible, without wear, blurring, or incomplete lines, it means the coin was struck with exceptional precision and preserved in near-perfect condition. Collectors pay a premium for these full steps nickels because they represent the highest quality strikes. Now, when you think of an ordinary nickel, it's easy to overlook it as just spare change. But with the 1980 nickel, it's the condition and uniqueness that truly matter. Coins graded by professional organizations such as the PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, often fetch the highest prices. A coin that's in mint state, MS condition, especially MS 65 or higher, with full steps can be worth a small fortune. But how does a nickel minted in such high numbers become so rare? The answer lies in time, circulation, and chance. Over decades of use, most coins become worn, scratched, or tarnished. Perfect examples, those untouched by hands, free of damage, and with sharp details, are incredibly rare. Combine that with a possible mint error or the coveted full step strike, and you've got yourself a collector's gem. Many collectors began to realize that even modern nickels like those from the 1980s could have hidden potential. What was once pocket change could now be an investment worth pursuing. The 1980 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that proves how even a coin from a relatively recent decade can achieve remarkable value under the right conditions. Let's talk about some of the known varieties and errors that make certain 1980 nickels stand out. One notable error is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving a portion of the blank coin surface visible. These off-center coins are instantly noticeable and can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on the severity of the error. Another valuable variation is the double die, where parts of the design, often the date or lettering, appear to be stamped twice due to a misalignment during the minting process. On a 1980 nickel, a visible double die on Jefferson's face, the word Liberty, or the date can send collectors into a frenzy. You might also come across nickels that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally minted on a blank intended for a different denomination, such as a penny or dime. These rond planchet errors are incredibly rare and fetch extraordinary prices because they represent true minting anomalies. Beyond errors, coin grading plays a huge role in determining value. The higher the grade, the greater the worth. For instance, a circulated 1980D nickel might only be worth a few cents more than face value. But an uncirculated one with a pristine surface, sharp details, and full steps can sell for hundreds or even thousands. Collectors often look for coins with minimal scratches, luster that gleams under light, and no discoloration or spots. These visual qualities elevate the desirability and market price of the coin. Additionally, provenance, or where the coin came from, can influence its value. A coin from a well-documented collection or one previously owned by a renowned numismatist can carry a premium. Another factor to consider is demand. As the years go by, collectors and investors continue to hunt for overlooked modern coins. Jefferson nickels, particularly those with special features, have been gaining more attention. That growing demand contributes to the skyrocketing prices we see at auctions and private sales. Stories have emerged of people discovering valuable coins while going through old jars, rolls from the bank, or change found in drawers. Imagine the thrill of finding a coin that looks ordinary but is actually worth thousands. That's part of the allure of coin collecting, the chance that history and fortune could be hiding in plain sight. The 1980D Jefferson nickel stands as a symbol of that possibility. Each coin carries with it a piece of American history, a moment in time from over 4 decades ago, when these coins first rolled off the mint presses. Today, they continue to circulate, silently passing through hands, pockets, and collections, waiting for someone to recognize their hidden worth. Collectors recommend always checking both sides of the coin carefully, using a magnifying glass to inspect details like the date, mint mark, and condition of Monticello's steps. If you find one in great condition, it's worth having it appraised or graded. Even a minor mint error could turn an average coin into a highly valuable collectible. So, the next time you get change from a store or go through your coin jar, take a moment to look closely at your nickels. That little 1980D Jefferson nickel could be the key to a surprising discovery. Many collectors started their journey by simply paying attention, and their persistence paid off handsomely. The world of rare coins is full of stories of unexpected treasures found in the most ordinary places. Every year, new discoveries come to light, changing the way we view coins we once thought of as common. The 1980D nickel is a shining example of how history, craftsmanship, and luck combine to create something extraordinary. And now, here's the part that's going to astonish you: the most pristine, mint-condition 1980D Jefferson nickel with full steps, sold in a major auction, reached a staggering value of $61,847. Yes. A small 5-cent coin once used for everyday purchases became a collector's masterpiece worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's the beauty of numismatics, the unexpected transformation of the ordinary into the extraordinary. So, before you spend your next nickel, take a closer look. You might just be holding a hidden fortune in your hand. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to World Information HD, and turn on the notification bell for more incredible stories about rare coins and valuable collectibles. You never know which coin could make you the next lucky owner of a rare piece of history. Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures that might be lying right in your pocket change. If you're someone who loves coins, collectibles, or just the thrill of discovering something extraordinary in an ordinary coin jar, then stay tuned, because today's story might just blow your mind out. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from the United States Mint, the 1982p mint-marked Jefferson nickel, also known as the 5-cent coin that could turn a casual coin collector into a millionaire overnight. You might be wondering, what's so special about a nickel from 1982? Well, as you'll find out in this detailed journey, not all nickels are created equal. Some carry errors, some carry history, and a few rare ones carry life-changing value. So, grab your magnifying glass, check your coin jars, and let's explore the incredible story behind this elusive and valuable piece of American numismatic history, the 1982p Jefferson nickel. In the early 1980s, America was undergoing big transitions, economically, politically, and even in its minting operations. The U.S. Mint had begun refining its production methods to reduce costs and improve accuracy. But like every technological shift, perfection doesn't come overnight. During these changes, the Mint in Philadelphia, which uses the P Mint mark, produced millions of Jefferson nickels in 1982. However, hidden among those millions were a few coins that didn't come out quite as intended, and that's where things get interesting. The Jefferson nickel itself has been a mainstay of U.S. currency since 1938, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design, created by Felix Schlag, is iconic, simple, elegant, and deeply American. But when you move forward to the 1982 issue, something special happened. Minor differences in die preparation, metal composition, and strike quality led to a range of rare varieties and valuable errors. Now, before we go into the value, let's understand why collectors care so much about nickels from this particular year. First, 1982 marked one of those transitional years for the Mint, when metal planchets were being adjusted and equipment was aging. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 373 million Jefferson nickels that year, a huge number. But only a fraction of those were struck with precision. Some came out with double dies, weak strikes, or even partial mint marks. Others had planchet flaws or misaligned dies, imperfections that most people would overlook, but collectors see as gold mines. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1982 P. Jefferson nickel is the double die obverse, where Jefferson's profile or inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust appear slightly doubled under magnification. These coins are exceptionally rare because they were minted only from a few specific dies before being corrected. Another interesting variant is the full steps designation on the Monticello reverse. A full steps nickel means that all 6 steps leading up to Monticello are completely visible and sharply struck, with no breaks, flattening, or blending. It's incredibly difficult to find coins in circulation with this level of detail because most nickels receive heavy wear quickly. In 1982, getting a full steps nickel from the Philadelphia Mint was almost unheard of, making those examples among the rarest of all Jefferson nickels ever struck. When you combine the 1982 date, the P Mint mark, and the full steps feature in pristine condition, you have a coin that collectors would pay a fortune to own. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Some researchers and coin graders have pointed out that a few 1982 nickels were struck using slightly worn or misaligned dies, which resulted in distorted mint marks, elongated lettering, or unusual metal flow lines around the rim. These anomalies make the coin stand out and can increase its desirability, especially when authenticated by grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Collectors have been known to pay hundreds, even thousands, for well-preserved 1982 P. Jefferson nickels with these unique characteristics. But a handful of coins have shattered records at major auctions. Imagine this: you're sorting through your old change jar, and you come across a 1982 nickel that looks a bit different. Maybe it has sharper steps, deeper relief, or a slight doubling on the lettering. You decide to get it graded, and suddenly you find out you're holding a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. It might sound like a fantasy, but it has actually happened to a few lucky collectors. Now, what makes this coin's story even more captivating is how easily it could be overlooked. Unlike older coins made from silver or gold, Jefferson nickels don't immediately grab your attention with their shine or rarity. They're common coins made from 75% copper and 25% nickel, and they've been used in circulation for decades. But the real magic lies in the details: the mint mark, the strike, the die condition, and the grade. Coin collectors always emphasize condition as the king of value. The 1982 P. Jefferson nickel graded in mint state, MS 65 or higher, with full steps can command staggering prices at auction. The combination of scarcity, condition, and collector demand creates a perfect storm of value. Let's take a closer look at what collectors hunt for. Obverse side: crisp and clear details on Jefferson's hair, collar, and facial features. Any blurriness or weak strike reduces the value. Reverse side: the Monticello should display full architectural clarity. The columns, dome, and especially the steps must be sharply defined. Mint mark, the P, should be well struck and centered, without fading or doubling. If you happen to find one that meets these conditions, you could be sitting on something incredibly rare. Even nickels with light circulation where but clear steps can fetch impressive sums. Now, let's talk about how to identify if your 1982 nickel is worth grading. First, look for the P mint mark on the right side of Jefferson's portrait. Then, under a magnifying glass, check the Monticello steps. If you can count all 6 clearly, you might have a full step specimen. If you notice doubling in the lettering or a misaligned rim, take note, those are potential error signs. Before sending it to a grading company, handle it carefully, never clean it, polish it, or rub it with cloth. That can ruin the natural patina and significantly reduce its value. Place it in a soft holder or a coin flip to preserve its surface. Some of the most valuable nickels in history have come from everyday circulation, found by sharp-eyed collectors who took the time to look closer. The 1982 P nickel is a perfect example, a humble coin that represents an era of transition in minting technology, but also a hidden treasure that continues to intrigue collectors even decades later. In recent years, collectors and investors have started paying closer attention to these mid-20th century coins, realizing that many of them are far rarer than people once believed. The demand for era nickels and high-grade Jeffersons has skyrocketed. What was once just pocket change has now become a potential investment opportunity. Numismatics isn't just about money, it's about history, art, and discovery. Each coin tells a story of its time, of the people who handled it, and the moment it was struck. The 1982 P nickel tells the story of precision, rarity, and luck, a reminder that sometimes, fortune really does favor the observant. So, next time you come across an old nickel, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. That simple coin might be carrying more history and value than you could ever imagine. And now, for the part everyone's been waiting for, the highest recorded value for a 1982 P mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin in pristine condition, featuring full steps and exceptional luster, sold at a professional coin auction for an astonishing $54,324. Yes, you heard that right. A small nickel, once worth only 5 cents, became worth over $54,000, a true testament to how extraordinary finds can still happen today. So keep checking your change, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of curiosity. Your next nickel might just make history. Thanks for watching World Information HD, where we bring you the most fascinating facts about coins, collectibles, and the hidden treasures of history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories just like this one. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest pieces of metal can hold the biggest surprises. The story of the United States of America 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is one such hidden gem, a coin that might look like an ordinary 5-cent piece but could actually be worth thousands of dollars if you know what to look for. Welcome to another exciting and informative episode, where we uncover the incredible secrets, minting mysteries, and rare values behind some of the most overlooked coins in U.S. history. Today, we dive deep into the story of the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel, a small coin that carries a huge legacy, and possibly, a fortune in your pocket change. Let's start with the history behind this coin. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel that had been in circulation since 1913. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the coin honors one of America's founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, with his portrait on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. Over the decades, the Jefferson nickel has become one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history, with millions produced each year at various mints across the country. But the year 1984 holds special significance for collectors, especially those who pay attention to tiny details that most people never notice. That's because during this year, the Denver Mint, indicated by the small letter D mint mark found on the right side of the coin near the rim, produced a number of Jefferson nickels that contained unusual minting errors, rare die varieties, and incredibly sharp details that have since made them highly sought after. Now, at first glance, the 1984 D Jefferson nickel may appear completely ordinary. It has the classic design of Jefferson's left-facing portrait on the obverse, and the image of Monticello on the reverse. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a smooth edge and a standard weight of 5 grams. But here's where things get fascinating. Not every 1984D nickel is the same. Some carry unique flaws that can turn a 5-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands. To understand why, we need to look into how these coins were struck. During the minting process, each coin is struck between 2 dies, one for the obverse, front, and one for the reverse, back. When these dies become worn, damaged, or misaligned, they create unusual marks, doubling effects, or distortions on the coin's surface. These so-called mint errors are not supposed to happen, but when they do, collectors go crazy for them. Among the most valuable examples of the 1984D Jefferson nickel are those featuring strong die clashes, doubled dies, and overstrikes. A die clash happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin planchet in between, leaving faint outlines or ghost-like images from the opposite side imprinted into the metal. In some 1984D nickels, you can actually see traces of Monticello behind Jefferson's head, a result of such a clash. Another major error that makes certain coins extremely valuable is a doubled die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions during its creation, resulting in letters or numbers that appear doubled. On some 1984D Jefferson nickels, collectors have reported doubling on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or even the date, 1984. If you have a magnifying glass, it's worth checking your coins closely for this feature, because even a small doubling can mean the difference between 5 cents and thousands of dollars. Collectors also look for off-center strikes, where part of the coin's design is missing or shifted toward one side. These occur when the coin planchet is not properly aligned during minting. The more off-center the design, the rarer the coin. For example, a 1984D nickel that's 10% off-center might bring in a few $100s, but one that's 40% off-center with full details still visible could sell for thousands at auction. Let's talk about condition, one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. Collectors use a grading scale developed by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, to assess coins. This scale ranges from PUR P1 to mint state, MS70. The higher the grade, the sharper and more detailed the coin's features, and the more valuable it becomes. A 1984D Jefferson nickel in circulated condition, the kind you might find in your change, is generally worth between 5 and 10 cents. However, if your coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value jumps significantly. A perfectly preserved coin with brilliant luster and no scratches or marks can easily attract collectors who are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if it also contains one of the rare era varieties. In fact, auction records have shown that 1984D Jefferson nickels in top condition can reach astonishing prices. For instance, coins graded MS67 and higher, which show near-perfect surfaces and strong strikes, are considered extremely rare. Since millions of nickels were produced each year, finding one in pristine, untouched condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Most coins enter circulation, get scratched, worn down, or damaged, which is why those few that survive in exceptional condition are so valuable today. Another thing collectors look for is the clarity of Monticello on the reverse side. In 1984, some Denver Mint coins suffered from weak strikes, causing the building's details, like its columns and steps, to appear blurry or flat. But when you find one with a sharp, strong strike showing every line of Monticello clearly, it stands out immediately to numismatists. Beyond errors in condition, the story of the 1984D Jefferson nickel also connects to America's coinage history during the 1980s. This was a period when the U.S. Mint was modernizing production and experimenting with die steel, press pressure, and machine calibration. As a result, minor imperfections or varieties slipped through more frequently than in earlier decades, creating opportunities for collectors decades later. Now, let's imagine finding one of these treasures in your pocket change or coin jar. It's not impossible. Rare coins still appear in everyday circulation, especially nickels, because people tend to overlook them. You might be holding a coin that has passed through hundreds of hands, traveled across states, and sat unnoticed for years, yet still hides a rare minting feature that could change its value dramatically. To check your 1984 Jefferson nickel, here's what you should do. First, look closely at the mint mark on the right side of Jefferson's portrait. The small letter, D, stands for Denver. Then inspect the date, 1984, and the words, "In God We Trust." For any signs of doubling or misalignment, turn the coin over and study Monticello. Are the steps clearly visible? Is there any unusual ghost image or clash behind Jefferson's head? These are clues that could lead you to a rare find. If you believe you have a valuable specimen, it's always best to have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade not only confirms the authenticity of the coin but also helps establish its market value when selling or auctioning. Collectors and dealers constantly monitor online marketplaces, coin shows, and auction sites for these rare examples. Sites like Heritage Auctions and Great Collections have listed high-grade 1984 D nickels for incredible prices in the past. These coins are becoming increasingly desirable, especially as the Jefferson series grows older and mint-state examples continue to disappear from circulation. Even though millions of nickels were produced in 1984, the combination of mint errors, pristine condition, and strong strikes makes certain coins exceedingly rare. Every collector dreams of finding one, a coin that reminds us how something so ordinary can become extraordinary simply by the smallest twist of chance at the US Mint. So, next time you're going through your loose change, take a moment to examine those nickels. Don't overlook them just because they seem common. History has shown that some of the most valuable discoveries come from coins that were once considered ordinary pocket change. This particular 1984 D Jefferson nickel proves that even the smallest coin can carry a story of craftsmanship, mystery, and fortune. And for one exceptionally rare specimen discovered in pristine mint state condition, collectors have paid an incredible price of $39,874. If you enjoyed learning about this remarkable coin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story about hidden treasures and valuable coins that could be sitting right in your own collection. The world of coins is full of surprises, and your next discovery might just be worth a small fortune. Welcome to World Information HD, the channel where knowledge meets excitement, and where every coin in your pocket could hold a story worth thousands. Today, we're diving into an extraordinary discovery that has taken the coin collecting world by storm: the United States of America 1989 P mint mark Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin that could make you question what's hiding in your change jar right now. Now, you might think that a coin minted in 1989 is too new to be valuable. After all, it's not from the 1800s or even the early 1900s, right? But what if I told you that certain 1989 Jefferson nickels, yes, the ones you might have handled 100 times, are worth thousands of dollars today? There's a hidden world behind these small metal discs, and tonight, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal it. So grab your cup of coffee, sit back, and let's journey into the fascinating world of American nickels, a world filled with errors, mysteries, and breathtaking values that even experts still marvel at. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features the dignified face of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, a man whose influence shaped the very foundation of the country. On the reverse, you see his Virginia home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece that symbolizes intellect, strength, and independence. But the 1989 version of this classic coin holds more intrigue than most collectors realize. The P mint mark below Jefferson's portrait indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia, one of the oldest and most historic mints in the country. Millions were produced that year, which makes you wonder, how could one of them be worth more than a brand new car today? The answer lies in details, rarity, and human error. You see, not all coins are created equal. Sometimes, a small mistake during the minting process creates a variation, a unique error that turns a common coin into a priceless treasure. For example, a misaligned die, a double strike, an off-center design, or even a wrong planchet, the metal blank used for a different denomination, can make one coin vastly different from the rest. For the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel, collectors have discovered a few rare and fascinating varieties. Some coins display striking die cracks that run through Jefferson's face or Monticello, a sign of a worn-out die being used longer than it should have been. Others have double die errors, where the inscriptions or parts of the design appear doubled under magnification, especially around the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust. But the most valuable and rare examples are those struck with unusual planchet errors, coins minted on blanks meant for other denominations, such as dimes or foreign coins. These rare errors can make your ordinary 1989 nickel worth a small fortune. Even a light misalignment or incomplete strike could raise the value from mere cents to hundreds of dollars, depending on condition and visibility. Now let's talk about condition, something every coin collector obsesses over. The grading scale used by professional services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can mean the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth thousands. Coins graded MS65 or higher, that's mint state, meaning uncirculated, hold immense value, especially when they retain that original mint luster and sharp details. A 1989 P. Jefferson nickel that still shines like the day it left the mint, with no scratches or signs of wear, can bring in hundreds, and sometimes thousands, if it also features a minting anomaly. But even without errors, a perfectly preserved example in a high-grade slab can surprise you. Collectors are increasingly drawn to late 20th century coins because of their nostalgia and growing scarcity in perfect condition. Think about it, how many 1989 nickels have been spent, lost, or corroded over the years? Probably millions. That means that pristine examples are becoming rarer with each passing year, and it's not just collectors who are interested. Investors and treasure hunters are paying attention too. The world of coin collecting isn't just a hobby anymore, it's a multi-billion-dollar market. People are now searching their spare change, drawers, and even old coin jars for hidden treasures, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, nickel. Imagine finding one of these rare 1989 P nickels in your home. The thrill of discovery, the rush of realizing you might be holding something that few others possess. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story ends with an incredible payday. Let's step back for a moment and appreciate the artistry behind this coin. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel's beauty lies in its simplicity. Schlag's design survived for decades with only minor modifications, proof of its timeless elegance. The 1989 version still carries that proud legacy, representing an era before digital design and automated perfection. Each coin, even in mass production, carries tiny imperfections that make it unique. Collectors look for specific details on these coins: sharp edges around Monticello's columns, clear steps at the building's base, and crisp lettering. A coin that shows full steps, meaning all 6 steps at the bottom of Monticello are clearly visible, can dramatically increase in value because it indicates an exceptionally strong strike. Over the years, nickels with full steps have become prized among numismatists. They're often the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one that could pay your rent. For the 1989 P nickel, a full step example in mint state can command a significant premium. But what really sets the coin world ablaze are those few auction results that defy expectations. Rare varieties of the 1989 P Jefferson nickel have surfaced in professional auctions, shocking collectors and bidders alike with their final prices. When one of these rare pieces appears, it becomes the centerpiece of any collection, a tangible piece of history that survived against all odds. Even in circulated condition, some examples can still attract attention if they feature visible errors or unusual toning. Toning refers to the natural coloration that forms on a coin's surface due to age and oxidation. A deep rainbow or golden tone can make a coin visually stunning and even more desirable to collectors who value beauty alongside rarity. So, the next time you're going through your change or cleaning out an old coin jar, pay close attention to your nickels. Look for the 1989 P mint mark on the obverse, just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. Examine it closely under a magnifying glass. Are there any signs of doubling? Any cracks, shifts, or strange textures? Hold it under the light and see if the steps of Monticello are clear. You never know, that ordinary-looking nickel might just be hiding a secret fortune. Coin collecting is more than just a pursuit of profit. It's a journey through time, a way of connecting with the nation's history, craftsmanship, and human stories. The 1989 Jefferson nickel reminds us that even the most recent decades of minting hold mysteries and marvels waiting to be rediscovered. Think of how many hands that coin might have passed through. Perhaps it bought a morning coffee in 1989, jingled in the pockets of workers, soldiers, or students, and somehow survived decades of circulation. And today, that same coin might hold the power to change someone's life. That's the magic of numismatics. The idea that value isn't just in money, but in meaning. Every coin has a soul, a fingerprint of history pressed into its metal. And sometimes, that soul carries a rare quirk that makes it priceless. Before we end, here's something important. If you ever find what you think could be a valuable 1989 Jefferson nickel, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy the coin's surface and drastically lower its value. Instead, place it gently in a protective holder or plastic sleeve and get it examined by a professional coin grading service. Collectors are always searching for fresh finds, and even the smallest difference in detail can mean a world of value. So, could your pocket change hold one of the rarest Jefferson nickels ever minted? The answer is simple: it's worth checking. Because hidden in those familiar 5-cent pieces could be one of America's best-kept numismatic secrets. And yes, one exceptional United States of America 1989 mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin has sold for an unbelievable $33,444, a jaw-dropping amount for something most people overlook every single day. So, the next time you see a nickel from 1989, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small piece of American history, and maybe even a small fortune. Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where every coin holds a mystery, a story, and possibly a hidden fortune. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the United States of America Jefferson nickel, specifically, the 2002 mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another piece of change jingling in your pocket or sitting unnoticed in a coin jar. But believe me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your nickels with a whole new sense of curiosity, because one particular 2002 Jefferson nickel has shocked collectors and auction houses with an unbelievable value. Let's take a journey through its history, design, errors, varieties, and how a common-looking 5-cent coin can turn into a life-changing treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Its design was created by artist Felix Schlag, who won a national competition for his depiction of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Jefferson's home, Monticello, on the reverse. The Jefferson nickel has since become one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. By the year 2002, the Jefferson nickel had already seen over 6 decades of production. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins, each marked with a small P mint mark located on the right side of Jefferson's portrait. The Denver Mint produced its own with a D mark, and the San Francisco Mint issued proof versions with an S mark. However, it's the 2002 version that has caught the attention of collectors worldwide due to rare errors and high-grade examples that have reached staggering values at auction. The 2002 Jefferson nickel was struck from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Its weight is exactly 5 grams, and its diameter measures 21.2 millimeters. Although the coin was struck using modern minting technology, no system is perfect. And that's where the story gets interesting. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest minting flaw can create a rare and desirable error coin. For the 2002 Jefferson nickel, a few such errors have turned ordinary pocket change into something extraordinary. One of the most desirable is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin blank was not properly aligned during striking. Depending on how off-center it is, such a coin can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another major error is the double die error, where the coin's details appear slightly duplicated, especially noticeable in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Monticello." This kind of error can make a 5-cent piece suddenly worth hundreds. There are even examples of die cracks, where the coin shows raised lines that trace the fractures in the die used to strike it. These small imperfections are cherished by collectors for their uniqueness. But errors aren't the only reason the 2002p Jefferson nickel can become valuable. The condition of the coin, known as its grade, plays a massive role in determining its worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale, with MS 70 being a perfect, flawless coin as if it just rolled off the minting press. Most 2002 nickels in circulation show heavy wear and tear, scratches, or loss of luster. But on rare occasions, a coin surfaces that was carefully preserved, untouched by human hands, with sharp details and bright, reflective surfaces. These are known as mint state coins, and their value can soar beyond imagination. For instance, collectors highly prize nickels with full steps on the Monticello design, meaning all 6 steps on Jefferson's home are perfectly visible and sharply struck. This small detail drastically increases the value, as it proves the coin was struck with exceptional precision. Full steps examples are extremely difficult to find, even among uncirculated coins. Now imagine finding a 2002p Jefferson nickel that not only has perfect full steps but also 0 blemishes, perfect luster, and a flawless strike. These are the coins that make headlines. At major coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, such coins are encapsulated in protective cases and given official grades. The highest graded 2002p nickels, often in MS 68 or MS 69 full steps, have attracted fierce bidding wars among collectors who want the best of the best in their collections. While most circulated 2002p nickels might only be worth their face value of 5 cents, uncirculated examples in pristine condition can range from $10 to $50. And coins with full steps can easily cross the $200 to $500 mark. But that's just the beginning, because the truly exceptional ones, the once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, can be worth far more. One of the most talked about finds in recent years was a 2002p Jefferson nickel that displayed a remarkable combination of qualities: a perfect strike, deep luster, and the coveted full steps designation, all preserved in a high-grade slab. When this coin appeared at auction, it caught collectors off guard. No one expected such a modern coin to reach the heights it did. But as bids climbed higher and higher, it became clear that this was no ordinary nickel. Why do collectors pay so much for coins like these? It's because modern coins in perfect condition are actually incredibly rare. The majority of them enter circulation immediately, where they're exposed to scratches, moisture, and wear. Only a handful of coins are carefully saved at the moment of minting, stored in pristine rolls or special collector sets. Over time, even these can tarnish or lose their shine, so finding one that has survived in flawless shape is like finding a time capsule from the mint itself. Additionally, the 2002p Jefferson nickel holds a special place in the transition era of U.S. coinage. Just a few years later, in 2004, the U.S. Mint began redesigning the Jefferson nickel as part of the Westward Journey series, honoring the Lewis and Clark expedition. That means the 2002 issue represents one of the final years of the classic Jefferson design before the modern revamp, making it even more appealing for collectors who value historical continuity. For those who are searching through their coins, there are a few things to keep an eye on. Always check the mint mark. The small p signifies Philadelphia. The condition: look for shine, lack of scratches, and crisp detail. The steps of Monticello, visible, well-defined steps, are a sign of strong strike quality. Any unusual marks or doubling, these could indicate valuable minting errors. If you believe you have a rare example, it's best to handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers. Instead, hold it by the edges and store it in a protective coin flip or holder. Then, consider having it professionally graded. Even if it turns out to be a common one, the process itself is educational and can help you understand the fascinating details of coin grading. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Many people assume only old coins are valuable, but that's not true. Modern coins like the 2002p Jefferson nickel prove that treasures can appear even in recent circulation. The key is in the details. Small imperfections, rare qualities, and outstanding preservation can make all the difference. Imagine holding a coin that's been in the pockets of countless people, passed through vending machines, stores, and cash drawers, yet, among the billions, yours turns out to be one of the rarest. That's the beauty of numismatics. Every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. So the next time you find a 2002 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark, don't dismiss it as spare change. Take a closer look. Examine the details. You might be staring at something truly extraordinary, a small, shining piece of American history that connects you to the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint, to Thomas Jefferson himself, and to the long lineage of collectors who treasure these miniature works of art. Hidden in your change jar could be one of the most valuable modern nickels ever found. The coin that took the world of collectors by storm, that turned a simple 5-cent piece into a symbol of perfection, rarity, and passion. And that very coin, the 2002p mint marked Jefferson nickel 5 cent, once sold for an astonishing value of $45,663. So, before you spend your nickels, take a moment to inspect them. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest piece of metal can hide the greatest treasure. Thanks for watching World Information HD, where knowledge is wealth, and every coin could be your ticket to a hidden fortune. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed learning about one of America's most surprising nickels. And who knows? Maybe the next valuable coin story we tell will be yours. Welcome back to World Information HD. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible world of United States coins, and this one might surprise you. It's a coin you've probably handled hundreds of times without ever realizing its potential value. We're talking about the 2007 Jefferson nickel, specifically, the one minted in Philadelphia with the P mint mark. This 5-cent coin might look ordinary at first glance, but what if I told you that some of these nickels have sold for jaw-dropping amounts at coin auctions? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify a valuable one, and why some of these 2007 P. Jefferson nickels can fetch extraordinary prices from collectors. Now, let's begin this fascinating journey into the story, design, and hidden treasures behind this little piece of American history. The Jefferson nickel has a long and proud legacy in U.S. coinage. Introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and showcased the portrait of one of America's most influential founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His image has remained on the 5-cent coin for over 80 years, with only a few design updates over time. The 2007 P. Jefferson nickel, however, stands out in the modern era because it represents a continuation of the westward journey theme that began a few years earlier. This design series honored Jefferson's vision for exploration, westward expansion, and discovery, a powerful symbol of America's growth. By 2007, the nickel had settled into its updated portrait design, featuring a more forward-facing Jefferson, created by sculptor Felix Schlag and later modified by Jamie Franke. On the obverse, or front side, you'll notice a sharp, modern image of Jefferson gazing slightly forward, accompanied by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2007. Just to the right of the date sits the small but crucial P mint mark, indicating that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Flip it over to the reverse, and you'll see the iconic depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. It's a structure rich with symbolism, representing Jefferson's intellectual and architectural legacy. Above Monticello reads the word E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Below it are the inscriptions Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly make a modern 5-cent coin like this one worth thousands of dollars? After all, billions of nickels circulate through vending machines, cash drawers, and pockets every day. But the secret lies in the details. The tiniest imperfections, the sharpness of the strike, and the presence of rare minting errors. Let's talk about that. When it comes to the 2007 P. Jefferson nickel, the most valuable examples are those that were struck with incredible precision, coins that appear almost flawless under magnification. Collectors call these mint state, or MS, coins, and they're graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A perfect coin with no visible flaws, scratches, or marks can be rated MS 70, a rarity that sends its value soaring. But that's not all. Some of the most desirable 2007 P. Jefferson nickels have errors, unintentional mistakes that occurred during the minting process. These errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even missing elements. Such coins are extremely rare, and collectors will pay a premium for them because no two error coins are exactly alike. One fascinating error seen on a few 2007 P. Jefferson nickels involves a slight doubling on Jefferson's face or the inscriptions. This is known as a double die error, and it occurs when the coin's die shifts slightly during the minting process. The result is a ghostly doubling of letters or features, something that experienced collectors immediately recognize as special. Another rare variety involves a die crack, a raised line or ridge caused by a small break in the die used to strike the coin. It might look like a random scratch, but to coin specialists, it's evidence of an authentic minting flaw that increases both curiosity and value. If you happen to find one of these 2007 P nickels in your change, take a closer look. Under a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, examine Jefferson's face, the lettering, and the Monticello building. Look for any unusual doubling, cracks, or distortions. Even subtle differences could mean you're holding something much more valuable than 5 cents. But condition is everything. Coins that have circulated heavily, the ones with scratches, wear, and dull finishes, usually retain only face value. However, coins that were kept pristine from the start, perhaps in a coin roll or a collector's set, can command high prices, especially if they are free from contact marks and have strong luster. Let's talk about mintage. How many of these coins were made? In 2007, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. That might seem like too many for any of them to be rare, but among such a massive number, only a small fraction will meet the criteria for top condition or feature one of those striking mint errors. That's what makes those special few so valuable. Now let's imagine this. You're at home sorting through a jar of old coins. You pull out a shiny nickel that catches the light just right. It's from 2007. You spot the small P mint mark beside the date. You start to wonder, could this be one of those rare nickels worth thousands? You examine it closely and notice a tiny doubling on the letters of Liberty. You grab your phone, look it up online, and realize this might be the real deal. Stories like this have actually happened. Everyday people, not professional collectors, have discovered rare nickels hiding in plain sight. One lucky coin hunter came across an uncirculated 2007 P nickel with a unique minting flaw and sold it at auction for a small fortune. It's a reminder that treasures can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places, even in your pocket change. Now let's discuss grading a bit more, because that's where many people get confused. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, specialize in authenticating and rating coins. When you send a coin in, experts carefully examine it under powerful microscopes and assign it a grade that determines its official market value. The higher the grade, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. For example, a 2007 P. Jefferson nickel graded MS67, meaning nearly perfect condition, can sell for hundreds of dollars. But if that same coin shows a rare mint error or reaches an MS68 or MS69 grade, it can be worth thousands. And if a collector or auction house verifies it as a one-of-a-kind specimen with an extraordinary flaw, the value can skyrocket. So what should you do if you think you've found one? First, handle it carefully. Never touch the faces of the coin directly with your fingers, as oils and dirt can damage the surface. Hold it by the edges. Then take clear, well-lit photos and compare them to verified examples online. If it still looks promising, consider sending it to a grading service. The small fee could be well worth it if your nickel turns out to be a rare gem. Coin collecting is not just about profit, it's about history. Each coin tells a story, and the Jefferson nickel carries a legacy that stretches back to the heart of America's founding ideals. From Jefferson's dream of exploration to the craftsmanship of modern minting, every detail represents a piece of our national heritage. Even though most 2007 Jefferson nickels are worth just 5 cents, the rare ones stand as proof that attention to detail pays off, literally. In a world where we often overlook the small things, it's the observant eye that finds treasure in the ordinary. So next time you receive change, take a second look before tossing it in a drawer or spending it. You never know what's waiting to be discovered. A simple nickel could hold a story, and a fortune, just beneath its surface. And here's the part you've been waiting for, the value. Among the most pristine and extraordinary examples of the 2007 Jefferson nickel, one particular coin, in mint state condition with an exceptional strike and rare minting error, sold for an astonishing $23,542. Yes, a simple 5-cent coin, turned into a small fortune. So, keep your eyes open, check your change, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky person to uncover a treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story and value behind the 2007 Jefferson nickel, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to World Information HD, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting video about rare and valuable coins. Who knows what piece of history you might find next?